Hi, and welcome to Happy Fisherman Adventures.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman, and I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.
Alright, before we start today's episode, we are quite happy that our hoodies have arrived.
Yeah.
As you can see.
Zip up.
That's it. And if you like some, you can purchase them on our website.
Well, today's episode a little bit different. We actually went land-based. So we on 13th beach, just off pound heads. And we had no indication what we're going to catch. We tried to catch gummy. We tried to catch anything that's out there. We got some fish, but actually we had lots of fun.
Let's watch the first video.
Today we decided that we're going to ditch the boat and we're going to do some land-based fishing. Our first stop, it was a disappointment. No dogs allowed, so we had to turn around and choose another place. Today we are at 13th Beach. This beautiful surf beach is located just beyond Bowen Head Golf Course. The 13th beach is actually 4.5 kilometers long, and there is quite a few car parks along this stretch. Just before we left, I made a phone call to Ovi, to Ange, Sav, so everybody got together and slowly we were setting up to catch some fish. On this particular spot, dogs were allowed, so as you can see, Chiquita had time of her life. She already got her nose dirty. Before you know, Ovi was ready. He had his rods ready, so he put a patternist rig, couple pilchards, and he was ready to cast. Fishing on a surf beach, it's important not to try to actually cast over the breaks and that, because you're never gonna manage to do that. But looking for gutters, as you can see in front of Ovi there was a gutter, and that gutter there is only about meter and a half deep, and that's where we found the fish. Gutters, holes like the one in front of us, and even the rip. That's what we're looking for when we're actually fishing the surf beach. Well, Ovi was ready, Chiquita was playing. Unfortunately, all my rods were brand new, so I had to set up from scratch. The first rod I set up was a light carbon fiber rod that we put really small paternoster rig that actually we chase whiting with. And we normally have fun with that rod while we're waiting for the big rods to take off. In the meantime, Chiquita couldn't wipe the smile off her face. She had the time of her life. Well, the very next rods were my surf rods. This particular rod I just got from Mick at Hooked on Bite and Tackle in Hoppers Crossing, and I couldn't wait to actually give it a go. While we were doing that, our friend Sav just arrived. Chiquita made a run just to tell her how happy she's here. The very next thing, it was to put the reel on. This reel again, the Shimano reel, was suggested to me by Mick, and it's a proper surf reel. So proper surf rod, proper surf reel, it is very important to have the right tools for the job. Now, I always put a small bead before I put my swivel on. And that's just to protect the rod tip, because sometimes the swivel can damage the tip and it's a pain in the butt to actually change that. Back in one of our episodes, Mick from Hooked on Bite and Tackle showed us the pulley system, which works the best when you want to cast actually on the surf and you want to get the distance. So I got a pre-made pulley system, and this is how it looks. Also, this breakaway sinker, it's my favorite. That actually works unbelievable. Then it was time to rig a salted pilchard. We use the salted pilchard because it just stays a little bit better on the hooks. I would put one hook through close to the head, then the second hook through the middle of the body, and then I would do a half hitch around the tail, just to make sure that that bite stays as the waves and sand smashes it. Once I got my bite ready, then I grabbed the hook, the top hook, and put it through the clip on our pulley system. This way, when you cast, the bite doesn't just twist around in the air and sometimes even falls off. It actually sits firm close to the line, and then when it hits the water or the sand, it breaks away. Like so. In the meantime, Ange got us our first catch. It was a sand crab.
As you saw, it took us a while to set up, and all we managed to get was one crab.
Well, in next video we're actually getting a fish, and we're going to explain what we use, the way we use. We're going to try to do our best to actually show what we're doing.
Let's watch the next video.
At this stage we did not care if we catch fish, no catch fish. Spending time with friends and all this scenery, it was just unbelievable. Sometimes we just forget how blessed we are to have all this around us. That's why we always encourage grandparents, parents that get your kids out there, get your friends with you and just enjoy the nature. That's what we're born to do. And what do you know, have a look. Ange got us a fish. It is a small salmon or so-called bay trout. A quick summary, Ange was using a 10-foot rod, a light carbon fiber rod, with a small paternoster rig. In this occasion was the reediest paternoster rig, loaded with PP and just backed up with a bit of squid so the PP doesn't fall off when you cast. I have to add that we did use a bit of here fishy burley with some tuna oil obviously mixed up, and I was throwing a handful every 10-15 minutes. In the meantime, Ovi managed to get a fish, but this fish was actually smaller than his hook. This fish was also salmon, small salmon, and yeah, it was a throwback. So far, catch, release, who cares? We actually had fun. Doesn't matter we didn't have fish to take home, we had fun. And we were hoping that a gummy will show up sooner or later. While I was releasing that fish, Ange got another one, and this time was even smaller than Ovi's fish. In the meantime, I set up my second surf rod, and this time I just had a paternoster rig. On one hook I had squid, on the second hook I put pilchard. When we use pilchard as a bite, I normally use this elastic string. This string is specially made to hold your bite in place while you're casting, because sometimes when you put pilchard and you cast, you lose it in mid-air.
As you saw, the small rigs that we normally use to catch King George whiting, we were using on the day in the surf, and they worked for us. The big rigs, not so much.
Well, look, we tried. We tried hard. It's not that the big rigs don't work. There was no fish there. So when it's no fish, you can't catch them. But I mentioned breakaway sinker. I'll just show you how that looks. This is the breakaway. It looks like a rocket. And why they call it breakaway? Because once you cast it, obviously these things get stuck in the sand. They bury themselves in the sand. Once you catch the fish or you retrieve it and you pull, actually the leg breaks off. And then once you get it back, When you cast again, just clip it back on. They're actually awesome. They're brilliant. And they work heaps better than the Star Sinkers. Anyway, in the next video, you're going to see that we didn't catch only salmon. We managed to get a yellow-eye mullet.
Let's watch the next video.
Mima had to make a quick run to Ange. Ange actually got a half a decent fish. This time it wasn't a salmon. The same rig, the same setup, the same bait, and we got a yellow-eye mullet. This mullet actually was quite big for mullet considering how small they are around here. Well, Chiquita quickly had to go and inspect. We think that she was very happy with the fish that Ange caught. Yellow-eye mullet is fish you can eat, of course, but this fish makes the best bite for gummy shark, for mulloway, you name it. Well, we all had fun. We all fished, we got wet, we got cold, who cares? Enjoying the nature, tranquility, just priceless. If you catch fish, we call it a bonus. For the big rods, unfortunately, we didn't have luck today. There was no gummy or any big fish that will take our big bites, obviously. But hey, we tried, who cares? As you've seen, Mima tried, Sav's trying, we all did our best. Ange kept getting fish left, right and center on a small rod, and yeah, he had lots of fun. Also, Ovi in meantime went and picked up Liliana and Caspar, and we all had fun here. They just relaxed, sitting down, having a few drinks, and it was just a magnificent day out. I even loaded the crab that we caught earlier because normally gummy shark loves eating crabs, but no luck. As the tide was moving out, we lost that gara in front of us, so we were casting in the breakers. Normally where the breakers are, it's too shallow, so we didn't get much fish there. Here you can see how Ange actually grabs a PP and twists it a few times around the hook, and then once we put the PP on, we would actually back it up with a little bit of squid, so it just holds a little bit better because PP is very easy for fish to pinch. And here is another tip from Ange. To clean your hands, just shove them up in the sand and rub them together. Ovi and Liliana decided to get their feet wet, but I think they got a little bit more than what they asked for. Caspar did warn them, now Caspar's on the run. Chiquita still happy as she was having time of her life. Just before the sunset, we decided we're gonna pack up and slowly take off home. Another great adventure with friends, and what a beautiful place. Quickly, I'm gonna show you how to do a T-dropper loop. It's a paternoster rig that we use for surf, and it's important so the bite doesn't tangle around. So here we go. Alright, first thing first. We do a standard loop, but we go through the eye 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 5, 6, you can do 6, 7, 5, doesn't matter. It's just, this is your tag. So when I do this line now, that's my tag. It's a little, you can see, it's not just in, it's got a bit of meat on it. Okay, now that I got my tag done and the loop is there, I'll grab the main line and spin it around and make a big letter O out of it, as you can see, and then I grab the line and twist around itself, the top line, about 5-6 times. All right, so now I grab the tag and bring it through that loop here, to the twist. And now this is what I got. I have to get this close in. So what you do, you pull a little bit and then just stretch it. Pull again, stretch it. If you don't stretch it, you may have a bit of a space in between the tag and the loop. So, and once you've done that, on the end, that's your teardropper. So now my sinker's here, and you can see my line sits perfectly straight. We'll get a closer look at this teardropper. So here we can put a hook through this, or we can cut it on one side and just put a hook. Just tie up a normal uni knot, tie up the hook or blood knot, anything.
Well, we didn't really catch a fish to brag about it, but it was an amazing day out and we had lots of fun, and I definitely can't wait to do this again.
Well, we love the place and we're blessed to have this kind of ocean and this kind of facilities all around the corner. And the next video is just going to be a flyover. Basically, I'm just going to fly over the spot. You can see some holes, you can see the black rocks on the corner. Enjoy the next video.
Well, where is the fish?
Well, first, King George, Clifton Springs, from Leopold, Clifton Springs, Indented Heads, St. Leonard's. We're getting a lot of small fish as well, but we're getting some good fish at the moment, which is great because before it was all small fish. But if you want bigger King George whiting, Westernport, Middle Sweet, amazing.
Squid, all the way from Clifton Springs to Queenscliff, and 2 hours roughly before the low tide, I believe works the best.
Well, Portland, it's another thing. It's just about to start with tuna big time. But saying that, our friend JJ, he actually got tuna, he got kingfish, he got pinkies, trevally, and everything happened not far from the boat, from the actually entrance in the harbour. So amazing to see Portland firing up. And look, people ask about snapper. There is some snapper, you have to go deep. So the wreck channel, the shipping channel, you may find them there, but it's hit and miss. So we can't say go there, you'll get a snapper 100%. It's no such thing.
But you can always give it your best shot.
Give it a try.
Okay, sometimes when we're out there surf fishing, we don't always have the best conditions to cast distance on. And sometimes we can get away with using long cast reels like this and long heavy surf rods and putting big sinkers on. But a cheap little trick that allows us to cast big distances is to use a pulley rig. It's one of the most underrated techniques we've got in our surf beaches. And it's a really simple rig to tie up. And what we've got here, traditional sinker on the bottom, we've still got our hook coming through, but when we're casting this particular style of rig, when you're traditionally casting, you've got your bait wrapping around like a great big propeller through the air. With a pulley system, the baits actually hook into a clip, so when it's travelling aerodynamically through the water or through the air to hit the water, and as soon as it hits the water, there's a little bait clip here, pressure hits the water, hits and releases our hook. So it allows us to get that huge distance without that big spiral wrap. The other advantage we have on this particular style of rig, once that sinker's in the ground and holding the position, we've got our bait streaming up. What then happens is our salmon or gummy shark or whatever target comes along, grabs that bait, goes to lift, the hook will now set because it's got the sinker weight there to pull up, and that allows us to set the hook. Before, 9 times out of 10 before you register, you've got a bite. The rig itself has done all the hooking before you've got out there and grabbed the rod to hook it yourself. You can pre-tie these up yourself. They're really easy to tie. There's only a couple of components involved, which is just your little hook clip down the bottom in there and what we call a pulley. That's it. The rest of it's just your swivel, hook and sinker that you traditionally use. For distance casting on the beach, it is your #1 trick to success for distance casting. There are commercially made ones for the guys that aren't too sure about tying their own. Black Magic and a couple other companies do make pre-made ones. But if you come in store, we can certainly show you how to tie one. They're nice and easy to tie as well.
Thanks again for all your support, people that actually purchase our t-shirt. Now we got some of these hoodies available. Overalls will be available very soon as well. So thanks again.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we will see you next time.
I hope, I dream, I wish to catch a big fish. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman. And I do it when I can. I'm a happy fisherman.